brave and odd, breaking a lot of rules, a lot of chat, not much different locations. Um, how cool to try that. And I thought I'm better at talking than I am at listening in front of a camera, and so I thought I might be able to do something with this. Nothing at all, I think, is the answer. It's not like I was religious and then I did this film and suddenly lost my faith. But I did find some of the arguments extremely interesting. I think all that research that Brian and Scott did was worth it. I mean, all that stuff about the basic pillars of Christianity being part of many, many hundreds of religions before Christ ever came along. You know, a savior born on the 25th of December and baptized in a river and all that stuff. That's fascinating. I loved that. The history of me in religion is that I was taken to church every Sunday by my parents until I was about 13. And then I said, this is too boring and it's nonsense, and stopped going for many decades and was really quite a devout atheist. And now in my old age and with intense stress with too many children, I sometimes go to the local church in my village in France and sit in there and ask St. Lawrence to help me out. And I find I can see why the older you get, the more open you are to these possibilities, especially as, to my horror, I now think there is probably another dimension. I don't want them to be another dimension in life. I can't cope with the ones we have. Well, it's a cliche. A castle in the north of England. In the middle of the night, I had a fight with my girlfriend, who was an insane person, and ran out of the room into the depths of the castle. And I went out to try and see where she'd gone, and she disappeared. And I stood on the landing at the top of the stairs in this huge castle in the middle of nowhere. There's no roads, nothing for miles around. And suddenly at my feet, just on the floor, not three-dimensional, just two-dimensional, on the floor, there was a kind of disco light, white shimmering light like this around my feet. And it went through me, down the corridor, through a wall into the main bedroom. And I said to the woman who owned the castle the next morning at breakfast that I'd seen this thing, and she said, "Yeah, I know, it's up there the whole time, and it's known as I can't remember what it was, the Third Duchess or something." Thinking back, it was exactly the pattern that one of those big old dresses with a bustle would have made on the floor. I think every actor feels the same way. Romantic leads are very difficult because they're always tiptoeing on the borderline of boring, you know. And for some reason, actors know that the audience is always going to be more drawn to the baddie. They're fascinated by them, just like some women are drawn to the bad guy, not the good guy, and no one knows why. BBC, but I slightly spit on streaming and believe in the collective experience for these things. I honestly, the idea of everyone sitting alone at home or with a family member or a dog watching a film that's meant to be enjoyed by hundreds of people gasping or laughing together is so sad.